Good evening. It is time for today's Tax Talk. I'm your host. I'm attorney Stephen Leahy. It is tax day. It is Monday, April 18th, the year of our Lord 2022, tax day. It's tax day. Remember that it was Emancipation Day on the 16th, which meant that they had to celebrate it on the 15th, Friday, and that meant the IRS offices were closed in D.C., and so the next day was today, April 18th. And so today is tax day. Now, I wanted to, it talks about tax extension. I guess I didn't change that. It's tax day. Let me just change that. It's tax day. Tax day 2022. Okay. Now I'll have to put that on there. There you go. It's tax day 2022. Oh, wrong one. Okay. Try it again. Tax day 2022. I know. I don't generally do that, but it is what it is. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to talk about tax day today and whether... That's what it did to me again. Tax day 2022. My mistake. Okay. See if that works. It doesn't. Tax day 2022. Here it is. Anyway, that's what it is. I hope you join us. I should have done that during the intro, but I didn't. I'm in a hurry because I got to go to the Hawks game, so I got to get out of here. So let me go through. Boom, boom. Let us begin the show. Won't you join us? Okay, today's tax talk. It's tax day. A couple things I want to talk about. You know, the IRS, again, if you haven't gotten an extension, you got till midnight tonight, you can get it in. Because if you do it electronic, you can get it in, or you have to have it postmarked. Remember the day when the post office used to have people out on the street until 12 o'clock and collecting your tax returns? They don't do that anymore. Why don't they do that anymore? Because everybody files electronically. And it's changed the nature of the IRS, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Because we all remember those days, at least I do, where the IRS would have, the post office would have people out, and people would be driving up at 11:50, and they would postmark it that day to make sure that it got in on time, and everybody's life centered around that because that's the only way to get it filed. But now we file electronically, and I don't think I'm going to do that today, but probably in the next couple of days, we're going to play that the pipeline video where the IRS shows what the pipeline is. Okay, hold on. I'm flabbergasted today. I didn't plug it in, and then it will cancel and it will shut us all off. Anyway, we all remember those days. So here, this is the IRS never misses a beat, right? So what are they going to do today? Well, they're going to ask for more money. They never miss a chance for more money. So this is let's go into this. This is the Commissioner of the IRS, Chuck Rettig. Chuck. I always know him as Charles. He's Chuck. IRS Tax Day message. Thank you for filing. So he's going to thank us all for doing what we all are required by law to do. And if you don't do it, you go to jail. You can go to jail. Put it that way. Monday marks April 18th, the annual tax deadline, and a unique day for citizens of our nation. On behalf of the employees of the Internal Revenue Service, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to file and pay their taxes. Really? The civic duty is important to our great nation in many ways by funding critical needs essential to our democracy on issues ranging from schools to roads to the defense. The IRS collects about $4.1 trillion a year, almost as big as his budget, as the Biden budget. Not quite, though. About 96% of the U.S. gross revenue. The tax season has been unlike any other. The COVID pandemic, like a series of new challenges in its wake. And for the first time, the IRS was called upon to distribute emergency resources to millions of struggling families and businesses. IRS employees did not hesitate, fighting hard during the pandemic to deliver on every front, working around the clock. From home, they weren't working around the clock. And in person, throughout almost all of the last 2 years, IRS employees distributed 3 rounds of stimulus checks and advanced the child tax credit, delivering nearly $1.5 trillion in needed relief to the American people. There is more to be done. Millions of returns are awaiting processing, and billions in refunds are still to be distributed. But our work is paying off. Refunds are rapidly being sent to the vast majority of taxpayers within 21 days, with 70 million refunds worth $222 billion delivered through April 8th. We take great pride in that, but we also know that this has been a season of frustration for many people, including those still waiting for us to process their returns from last year, those who filed amended returns, those who faced delays, and those who tried calling our phone lines and faced long wait times if they could get through it all. This is frustrating for all of us at the IRS as well. I want to assure you that our employees are working hard day in and day out, even at night and on the weekends, to help people. They are doing everything they can because they want to serve you. We're also paying them, aren't we? Unfortunately, our already scant resources are stretched thin, and consistent underfunding has significantly hindered the service we're able to provide. Over the course of the last decade, the IRS's budget has fell more than 15% in real terms. Because of this decrease in 2021, we realized less than 79,000 full-time positions, which is close to the 1974 levels. Since 2010, IRS enforcement personnel fell by 30%, while the nation's real gross domestic product increased by 29%, and the filing population has increased by 14%. Over the next 6 years, we estimate we will need to hire 52,000 employees just to maintain our current levels. Every measure that is important to effective tax administration has suffered tremendously in the recent years, with profound deficiencies resulting from underinvestment in human capital and information technology. To be clear, the commitment of the IRS employees remains steadfast and undeterred. Our workforce is strong and remains our most important resource, and I'm pleased to report our plans to hire up to 10,000 new employees to replace retiring workers and address other needs are going well. We've offered positions in the last few weeks to more than 2,500 people. We are committed to returning to healthy levels of inventory this year, and our focus on this will continue in the weeks and months ahead as the IRS begins preparing for the 2023 tax season. All of us at the IRS want to serve taxpayers well. We want our phones answered quickly. We want the nation's tax laws enforced fairly. We want people to get the help they need whenever they need it. But to do this, the IRS needs help. Our resources are vastly overextended. The President's fiscal year 2023 budget proposal, which provides $14.1 billion for the IRS. Did you know what their tax? I know I've talked about a lot about what their budget is. And they used $14 billion last year with the extra funding from COVID. But did you know that it was $14 billion? And did you think $14 billion is underinvestment? I don't think it is. Will allow the agency to take important steps towards improving taxpayer service, modernizing our systems, and ensuring fairness in the tax system. But the IRS is truly be able to deliver the American people with long-term improvements. We need stable multi-year funding in place to allow the agency to rebuild. The success of our nation is closely tied to the success of the IRS. And as today is tax day, I want to thank you on behalf of my colleagues at the IRS for doing your part and help our great country. By law, it's required. Most of us don't want to pay taxes, but we understand that the government can't function without money, and that the money comes from the people. We understand that. Everybody understands that. But here's an opinion piece. I believe it's an opinion, or it's a piece in the New York Times. Treasury makes a plea for more IRS funding on tax day. So that's kind of what that was, right? He was that opinion piece. He's looking for more money. The Biden administration continued to push for $80 billion in new funding for tax collection agency. $80 billion. As millions of Americans race to finish filing their tax returns on Monday, the Biden administration made another plea for Congress to give the Internal Revenue Service more money. The latest call for funding to modernize the agency and to beef up its enforcement staff followed IRS and Treasury Secretary or Treasury Department officials' complaints that they are facing extraordinarily challenging tax season because of staff shortages and the complexity associated with distributing pandemic relief money. The Biden administration's proposal to provide the IRS with $80 billion over a decade have thus far fallen flat in Congress. The IRS knew walking into the filing season that it did not have the workforce or technology in place to serve the American people the way they deserve, to pick up the phones when taxpayers call, to help them access all the credits and benefits to which they are entitled, and to ensure that each and every taxpayer receive their refund quickly. Ms. Siren said the IRS had collected more than $130 million in tax returns, 130 million tax returns from individuals and businesses this year, and had dispersed more than $220 billion in refunds. The average refund as of April 8th was $3,175. Taxpayers who received a portion of their child tax credit in advance last year could receive smaller refunds than they expected. They already got the money, so the refund's the same. The agency started this tax season, buried in a backlog of more than 20 million tax returns from the previous years, leaving many taxpayers frustrated about the delayed refunds. The IRS has been holding job fairs with the aim of hiring 10,000 new employees to clear the backlog by the end of the year. Despite the Biden administration's continuing push for more money for the agency, it was not clear if the proposal would make its way to legislation that Democrats could pass. Republicans have staunchly opposed providing the IRS with more funding. $80 billion. I don't think they gave them more funding this year, but they didn't want to give them $80 billion. Ms. Aaron said the IRS remained bogged down by antiquated technology. Is that because they didn't get funding this year? Or is it because they had $14 billion over the last several years is not enough? And the thin resources, $14 billion, thin resources. She said the lack of funding was fueling the $600 billion annual tax gap. There it is again, that $600 billion. Sometimes they tell you it's $1 trillion. It depends on what usually is $300 million. But then now they're telling us it's $300 billion. Now they're telling us it's $600 billion. Uncollected and leaving the entire system in a state of distress. It is a tax system where ripped paper returns are literally pieced together with Scotch tape. Ultimately, is the IRS that is stuck with short-term salves for much deeper trauma. I just don't have much. I know it's I don't have much sympathy for the IRS. Maybe it's just where I sit, but I think they're funded. I think if we looked at the number of electronic returns, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next couple of days, the pipeline. Now, tomorrow's Crypto Tuesday, so we probably won't do it tomorrow, but maybe Wednesday I'll rerun that video about the pipeline and how the IRS used to process tax returns and no longer does it that way because they don't have to. They did last year, and that's what really put them behind. But giving them $80 billion, doubling the size of the IRS, just not something I think we should do. My own opinion, and I think all Americans have their opinion. What do you think? Should we give them double their resources? I don't know. That's something we should think about. I'm going to ask you to like and share our see, that's what happened. I wrote over that to 6. Like and subscribe and share. Thanks so much. Remember, if you have a problem with the IRS, get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today. That's the first thing you should do. Get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today. Go to freeirsbook.com, freeirsbook.com. That's freeirsbook.com. Get a copy of my book, and it'll help you know which way you should turn. So again, thanks so much for joining us. Remember, tomorrow's Crypto Tuesday, and join us on that, won't you? Thanks so much for joining us today.